What is up, guys? It's your boy Crossbow Cactus, and today we've got some brand spanking new Destiny 2 news, courtesy of the Bungie weekly update that has just gone live, revealing official information. And so, let's get started. Now, first things first, what's been going on this week for Destiny 2? Well, the main thing by far is that on the Tuesday weekly reset, Bungie hosted a new developer livestream for the upcoming Edge of Fate expansion. And the community reaction was, not great, to say the least. Now, why is that? Why were people not thrilled with this livestream? Well, I think the best example is in the video I made covering the livestream. It's linked right up above if you want to check it out. I just go over all the information Bungie unveiled in that developer livestream, and almost every time I talk about a subject, Armor 3.0, the new exotics, I say, hey, I've already made a video going over all this stuff in more detail than what was revealed on the stream. Click up above if you want to see, the full Armor 3.0 breakdown, the full tiering system breakdown. If you want to see all of the new exotics we saw that include ones that weren't even showed off in the stream, like all of that stuff. And so it was actually a bit weird that Bungie is going over this stuff that content creators made videos on weeks ago. So, people already know about Armor 3.0. They already know about these new exotic armors. They already know about a lot of these features, and Bungie's just rehashing that detail. So a lot of people felt like the live stream just didn't make sense. Nothing really new was unveiled, with one notable exception being crossbows. That's right, we are getting crossbows as a new kind of heavy weapon in the Edge of Fate. And you're going to be able to shoot enemies and go and retrieve the bolt to get your ammo back. So you can technically go infinite with crossbows. And overall, people were pretty surprised by this. This was not present in any of the previous gameplay videos. So Bungie kept this one, tight under the vest until this stream. So that was a fun surprise. Overall, people thought that maybe the damage wasn't the best that we were seeing in the gameplay, but to me, guys, you can just go in and adjust the numbers for damage super easily, right? It's the concept that I think is very cool, being able to go and retrieve your ammo back. And they actually said one of the perks it can get would do damage when you ripped the bolt out of an enemy. So stuff like that is very cool. So I'm excited for crossbows for sure. But again, aside from crossbows, the rest of the information was stuff we already knew. But even so, it ignited a big debate about one of the most controversial things coming in the Edge of Fate, and that is new gear bonuses. Now, if you're one of my viewers, you know all about this, because I did a full breakdown of the new seasonal artifact. I talked about the new gear bonuses. I guess a lot of people don't watch my videos because everyone was super surprised and shocked by this detail, guys. But yes, you will actually get a damage bonus up to 10% if you're using a tier 5 new weapon in the Edge of Fate. And you're going to get damage resistance if you put on new armor in the Edge of Fate. And again, these bonuses will scale higher depending on the tier of your weapon or armor piece, right? So, I mean, a lot of people are calling this soft sunsetting, right? Almost forcing you to adopt the new gear while giving you a pretty notable disadvantage. Oh, you want to use your old weapon? It's going to literally do 10% less damage. Other people are saying, look, we've needed a reason to grind for new gear for years now. This makes new gear so much more exciting, right? There is really a big debate going on within the community. For me, honestly, I'm unsure. I see both sides. I grinded, X amount of hours for the Psychopomp God roll. It sucks that it just does 10% less damage now than something else, right? With that being said, we already have seasonal artifact perks that really define the meta for an entire season and do pigeonhole you into using certain gear. Solar weapons, or in this case, arc weapons, are just goated right now. You better use arc weapons, right? So again, having those things that make you use certain weapons, certain armor pieces to be part of a new meta for a season, and then that rotates. We're already kind of used to that. This is just a little bit more of an aggressive take on that. Additionally, you're only going to get the biggest damage bonus at tier 5. It's going to take you maybe months to get a bunch of tier 5 stuff. So your old gear is still very valuable when you're grinding the new gear. Like, what are you going to use to grind tier 5s? It's going to have to be your best old gear, right? So it's not like your old gear is immediately dead the second the season starts. But again, like, we already went through sunsetting and people hated it, so I'm not sure this is the right approach. There's so many good things coming in the Edge of Fate. Armor 3.0, I'm so excited for. You know, I've been asking for set bonuses for years. That's finally coming. The tiering system looks cool. It's kind of like, do we need to have this controversial feature right now? It just seems like you could not have that and still have so many changes that people like. But regardless, guys, that's the community sentiment. That's what's mainly going on in the community right now. Now, as for the brand new information within the TWAB, Bungie announces that Part 2 of the Edge of Fate developer livestream will take place on the upcoming Tuesday, July 1st at 10 a.m. Pacific. And if you tune into their Twitch for at least 15 minutes, you will get this exclusive emblem. After that, guys, it's a lot of recapping, so I'm going to go over things a little bit faster. For example, they talk a lot about Armor 3.0. They reveal some of the set bonuses, but I've already revealed these exact set bonuses and more in my Armor 3.0 video. I'll link that right up above if you want to see it. So they go over these 6 different armor archetypes. So remember, no more completely random stats on armor. It's going to have always a primary stat and a secondary stat depending on its archetype. You can see them right here. And then it's going to get a tertiary stat, which is completely random. Now, Bungie then talks about the new gear bonuses that everyone is worried about. They say they wanted to provide a focus for build crafting throughout the game's various activities. But extremely importantly, they also mention that new gear will provide a 10% bonus for weapon damage and a 15% bonus for damage resistance, but these bonuses will not apply to PvP or the contest mode for the upcoming raid. So that's huge. That was one of the biggest complaints. People were saying, wait a minute, like, I'm gonna have 4 days to get a whole new build together with all new gear, or I'm gonna miss out on potential bonus damage and damage resistance. But no, that's not the case. And so that is actually really good. It seems a bit more digestible if it's just bonuses for like seasonal activities and stuff like that. It's not as bad as the raid and PvP for sure. However, there's going to be a specific PvP playlist where you have to use new gear if you want to try out new stuff in that. But that's definitely not the same thing. So very good piece of information there. They talk about masterworking, guys. So now when you fully masterwork a piece of armor, you're going to get +5 in each of the stats that are not part of your archetype. So if you have a brawler piece and its primary melee, secondary health, and then your tertiary random stat is weapons, when you masterwork it, you get +5 in the other 3 stats. So that's +15 stats total, guys. Moving on from there, again, they went over gear tiers, specifically what is the band of stats you're getting when you ascend the different tiers for armor. You can see that right here. And again, it's just rehashing a lot of what we already know, guys. But after that, Bungie goes over some very important information about what happens to exotics in Armor 3.0, and specifically exotic class items. So they begin by saying, while your existing roles will be converted 1-to-1 to the new stats, new drops of exotic armor will be upgraded to Armor 3.0. So they will have an archetype, the new masterworking system, and drop with full mod energy by default. While these drops will not have a specific gear tier, their stats will roll as if they have tier 2, so it's only 58 to 63 total stats. Once masterworked, this should be comparable to all but the very best Armor 2.0 rolls. I'm not super thrilled by this. I would hope that exotic armor would have a bigger band so you can actually grind for it, but like having them all be around tier 2, just means that you don't really have motivation to grind exotic armor now once you get the archetype you want. Now, they do also mention that you can transition existing armor into the Armor 3.0 versions through 801. We talked about this in a previous TWAB, guys. So you're going to be able to go in and say, I want a brawler piece of armor, and you can pick from any of the exotic armor you've already gotten. So you can like pick the Syntheseps, for example, and then you will get a new version that is the brawler archetype, right? So you can convert anything you want into the Armor 3.0 system. And then they talk about for the class items, they are the only armor from before the Edge of Fate that will be converted fully into the new system. Each one will receive the maximum stats available for an exotic, so 30 in the primary, 20 in the secondary, 13 in the tertiary, to prevent this from massively increasing the number of possible class item rolls. These stats will be assigned based on their rolled perks, the archetype being determined by the left column perk, and the tertiary stat by the right column perk. However, this does mean that they can no longer be upgraded to Artifice armor and will lose any existing Artifice mod slot. So, downside, Artifice mod slot going away. Upside, you're getting a massive amount of stats, guys. Look at these examples, right? So if you have, for the Hunter Cloak, Spirit of Inmost Light, Spirit of the one that gives Woven Mail, you now get a massive chunk of super, then secondary stat, melee. Finally, you get Grenade. So again, that tertiary stat Grenade is determined by Grenades grant Woven Mail. That makes sense. If you look over to the Stoicism for the Titan, so Spirit of the Assassin is melee focused, right? So it's going to be Brawler, Syntheseps here, again, more melee stuff. So overall, it honestly like doesn't even matter what stats you get because you have 0 stats right now, right? Like you are getting a massive increase to your overall stats with your class items because class items are just becoming normal gear with rolls now in the Edge of Fate. So again, like this is crazy that, you know, you have your Prismatic build ready to go, and then in the Edge of Fate, you just get 30 more melee potentially for your melee build. Again, this is pretty crazy, guys. Now, moving on from there, they also talk about gear swapping, guys, and specifically, they talk about the Sanguine Alchemy. It's actually getting a nerf in the Edge of Fate where swapping to this exotic in combat will apply a 10-second cooldown before its perk can be activated. So kind of unfortunate there. But moving on from there, they then talk about the featured exotics, and they have this like ginormous page of all the different featured exotics. So I'll show you guys on screen right here. They also did go over this during the live stream, but again, like you have those new gear bonuses that we talked about earlier in this video. It's also going to apply to featured exotics. So even though, for example, the Graviton Lance is a very old weapon, it is featured next season, so it will get the new gear damage bonus. And this is just another way that Bungie is, you know, directing the meta a little bit, just shaking up the meta, giving us some new build possibilities and so on. And again, they've been doing this for a while with the seasonal artifact perks, but it's getting even more aggressive now with all of these changes. Moving on from there, Bungie talks about the abilities tuning coming in the Edge of Fate. So some of these changes, specifically Prismatic, we already know about, but some is brand new. So for the Warlock, Prismatic, they've reduced the number of fragment slots for Hellion from 3 to 2 and Bleak Watcher from 3 to 2 as well, guys. Then for Prismatic and Strand, Weaver's Call, it now generates threadlings on any final blow instead of just strand final blows. So that's actually a big buff for Prismatic specifically. Then for Void, for Pocket Singularity, they've increased the damage versus non-boss combatants by 20%, and they've increased the damage versus bosses by 56%, guys. Moving on from there, for the Titan, specifically Prismatic, they've reduced the Consecration fragment slots from 3 to 2, and then for Solar, they've increased the Consecration fragment slots from 2 to 3. So what Prismatic lost, Solar gained. Then for, again, Prismatic and Strand, Dranger's Lash. They've increased the tracking strength of the base suspend wave and Abate Leap exotic armor suspend wave. They've increased the base suspend wave travel distance from 20 to 30 meters, and they've increased Abate Leap suspend wave travel distance from 30 to 35 meters. So yeah, overall, big buff to Drangar's Lash. Then for Prismatic and Solar, Consecration, Ignition no longer has plus 20% bonus damage, guys, because it no longer scales off of melee, so another nerf there. Then for Void, for Shield Throw, they've increased projectile tracking strength by 77%. Shield Throw is actually pretty decent, giving you the overshield as well, so that could be pretty nice. Then for Storm's Keep, oh boy, benefits no longer stack when standing behind multiple barricades. So Storm's Keep is still going to be quite good, but yeah, you're not going to get the double and triple Titan shenanigans. Then for Hunter, Gambler's Dodge. Melee energy return no longer requires dodging near an enemy. Now, that is because you're going to have to invest in the melee stat to get melee back. So the amount of melee you get back now depends on how much melee stat you have. So, you know, it's kind of a buff, but it's already kind of been nerfed. You know, it is what it is. Then for Prismatic, they've reduced the number of fragment slots for the following aspects: Ascension from 3 to 2 and Winter's Shroud from 3 to 2. Then for Prismatic and Solar, Gunpowder Gamble, they've reduced the self-damage by 60%. Thank goodness. And Final Blows of all kinds now grant Gunpowder Gamble progress instead of just solar kills. Again, that's going to make it a lot better. Then for Solar On Your Mark, that aspect, Final Blows while at 3 stacks of On Your Mark now make you radiant for a short time, and activating your class ability now gives a 1 stack of On Your Mark instead of 3 stacks. So a bit of a preemptive nerf there, but a massive buff as well, giving you radiant there. For Arc, the Ascension aspect, Ascension can now activate the following perks. So it activates Reaper, Powerful Attraction, Outreach, Distribution, Bomber, and Dynamo. So basically Ascension like counts as using your class ability. And it activates the Hoyle on your class item, Heart of Inmost Light, and the Gear Falcon's Reserve Overshield. So again, like your Ascension was already good, and now it's going to be even better in actually synergizing with your build. But this is only for Arc, unfortunately. I would imagine, like, it's listed under Arc and not Prismatic. So moving on from there, guys, some general changes to all classes. They've increased the damage versus bosses, mini-bosses, and champions by 15% for the following grenades. So a lot of arc grenades there, void grenades, solar grenades, and the rock grenade from the Forerunner exotic. Overall, like, storm grenades already good, so it getting a buff is kind of crazy. Then for all damage types, ability energy returns from perks and passive regen now scales based on the requisite stat. So basically, if you have Demolitionist, it is going to give you less or more grenade energy back depending on how much grenade stat you have. If you have about 70, it's going to give you the same as it is right now. If you have more, it's going to give you more. If you have less, it's going to give you less in the Edge of Fate. Then for Void, specifically Devour, reduced Devour heal amount from 200 HP to 140. Darn, bit of a nerf there. Like, I don't know if I can argue with it, but I do love Devour, so hard to see it get hit. Then Strand Suspend, increase the base suspend duration from 5 seconds to 6 seconds. Okay. Stasis Shatter, damage now stuns Overload champions instead of Unstoppable champions. I guess this basically is just so that you can't use Tenacious Mastery for like all 3 champions whenever sidearms are anti-barrier. Then for Arc, specifically the Flux Grenade, they've significantly reduced the base cooldown time, and they've increased projectile size to make it easier to stick to targets. All right, pretty big buff there. Then they also talk about the new rewards pass incoming. They actually have a picture of it right here, so we can see some of the new, shaders and stuff seem to be a lot more generous in terms of the stuff you get. Like, there's a lot of Ascendant Shards here. You actually have a little armor piece in the bottom right, a brand new armor piece that you can see there, guys. And they say it's a new era of Destiny 2, and with that comes exciting updates to our seasonal pass model. So they go on to say there will be 4 rewards passes available during the Year of Prophecy, and just like before, the cost for these rewards passes is being reduced to 1,000 silver. Now I think this is going to catch people off guard because there's only 2 seasons. As you can see right here with the content calendar Bungie put out, you have Season of Reclamation taking place until the next big DLC, Renegades, launches, and then you have Season of the Lawless, which takes place until the next DLC is going to launch. But in between these seasons, you have these major updates. So in Season of Reclamation, you have Ash and Iron, and that does come with a new rewards pass that will cost 1,000 silver for the premium tier. Now, it does say that, like it says Ash and Iron right underneath it says rewards pass. However, I think we just came out of episodes, and a lot of people may have expected the rewards pass to not be an entirely new rewards pass, but rather just a continuation of the original rewards pass, right? Like you're in the same season, the type of rewards pass, like the literal lettering is the same color. I think some people expected like the other half of the rewards pass to unlock with Ash and Iron, instead of it being its own different rewards pass that you'll need to buy, right? Myself, I think that's maybe what I was thinking as well. So like they did kind of try to tell us, but this may again catch people off guard. They go on to say, what we're really excited to announce is that every rank reward will be available to earn day 1. So no more having to wait for a new act to launch to unlock more ranks. And we've adjusted them to feel more rewarding too. Like, okay, Bungie, but you're not going to get a pat on the back for undoing the change that you made that everyone was annoyed with. But, I mean, I guess that's good. They say, for one, we've refactored some boosts and added new ones, removing some that were determined to be less than desirable. The new boosts offer comprehensive bonuses that apply to a wide range of content as opposed to narrowly boosting specific season content. So you have an activity score bonus, now provides 15% score bonus on all portal activities when fully unlocked. That's going to be huge. Prime engram boost, so increases the possibility of desirable armor and weapon drops from portal activities. We have weekly challenge boost, allows players to complete their various weekly seasonal hub challenges faster, and an XP boost. This has been refactored to apply a 40% bonus to XP earnings when fully unlocked, along with a 20% bonus to Fireteam member XP. So like that's good and all, but my concern is like, did you just make this pass more like pay to win? You can pay to advance tiers, and it's kind of like the thing that no one wants to talk about in Destiny right now, but you get tangible bonuses by paying money. So like, is it now even more of an incentive to buy the entire season's pass and buy your way through it day 1 to get a 40% damage bonus so you're ready for the day 1 raid? That's my concern. They say, secondly, the premium track armor rewards have been reworked so that players will acquire a full set of both PvE and PvP armor, and the free track will offer 5 pieces split between the 2 sets, allowing players to unlock partial set bonuses for each. Thirdly, we took a pass at our reward allocation to assure we are providing as much value as possible for all players. The allocation of various free rewards has been increased, and players will be able to acquire more cosmetic rewards within the first 100 ranks of the pass compared to prior season's passes. With a return to 4 passes per year, we've reduced the pass ranks down to 110. Why the extra 10? Just they're extra special, I guess. While we set out to reduce the overall grind and remove the time gating introduced during episodes, we still wanted to preserve some aspects of the aspirational progress and chase rewards that our larger seasons passes provided. These additional 10 ranks are packed with valuable rewards for both free and premium players and require 500,000 XP each to earn and can only be acquired through gameplay. Okay, while we have ensured that the first 100 ranks provide more value than ever before, we're hoping that you also enjoy having additional rewards to chase after 100. So, okay, so you can buy your way up to 100, and then from 101 to 110, that's what they're showing here in that image. All right, okay. Moving on from there, guys, Bungie Day is almost here, and they say that it kicks off on July 7th and will run through July 29th, guys. There's going to be the 7th column Chaos PvP tournament, and you can see the different teams competing right here, guys. And they say, of course, with a new campaign comes a fresh wave of rewards to power the work we do together. So they're going to be helping the Little Lights program, and they also have this emblem you can earn as part of that right here. And the last thing they talk about is there's a massive Steam summer sale, and like everything from Destiny 2 is significantly off, guys. Like, oh my goodness, 92% off Lightfall, Witch Queen, Beyond Light, all that stuff. So if you're missing one of these expansions, could be a great time to snag it in the few weeks before the next expansion. Maybe go and get the powerful exotics and so on from that new expansion. Guys, that is it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCactus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.